We'll have a small excerpt reading from the book, and then a Q&A followed by audience questions. So looking forward and guaranteeing happiness during the next 1 hour. Now, we're delighted to have Aparna ji with us. She's a multifaceted personality, a public speaker, an author herself, a leader, a writer, and many more avatars that are too numerous to name in the 1 minute I've been given for the introduction. Thank you for being here today. She writes one of my favorite columns in the Mint. In fact, we subscribe to the Mint to read her article, the design of businesses. She looks at offices and how they're designed, and then uses that as a corollary to what the business is about. Very enjoyable. She's written a very honest, vulnerable book on mental health, which has got her a lot of acclaim. She's a very acclaimed academic herself. She's associated with educational institutions. She went to Oxford, and then if that wasn't enough, she went to Harvard Business School. So we're delighted to have you. Dr. Janki Santokar Janki ji is known to most of us. Janki ji has now been a teacher on the subject, a scholar for more than 3 decades. Again, the bio is long, and I have 1 minute, so I'll go with the headlines. She's a teacher on Vedanta, having been a student herself. She's a public speaker, a corporate trainer, an author, and as we all attend her regular classes, she's an online teacher now for us, and very soon to be the Dean of the Vedanta University. So without further ado, to kickstart this morning, I would invite both Aparna ji and Janki ji to please come on stage to launch the book. Thank you so much. As Janki has always told us, it's our mind, intellect, as well as body and action that's important. So to keep this more action-oriented, we would want both our panelists to come back again on the stage and start with an excerpt that Janki ji would read, and then Aparna ji, you can take over. Aparna ji could be on the stage with her. Thank you.
Audience might have that. Yeah, thank you.
Hari Om. So nice to see everyone after all this online stuff. To actually meet you all has been wonderful. Started with a lot of happiness as it is. I don't know what we're doing with this book. Okay, so just a little introduction to the book and a few extracts. The happiness guarantee is about the fact that we do everything for happiness, but we don't stop to ask, will I actually get happiness out of this? Is there anything that guarantees it? You all know that there are no guarantees in life. Anything can happen. And as we all know, I mean, so many of you have come and told me about stuff that has happened since we have met after a long time. There are no guarantees. There is no saying at the end of this talk what is going to happen to any one of us. There's no saying what's going to happen this minute. No guarantees. But happiness guaranteed? Sounds like a really tall order. That's what Vedanta says. So don't argue with me. I'm merely a messenger. This is what Vedanta says. Okay, so this book, and I'll just read a little bit from the preface. Firstly, happiness is such a basic need that it is surprising we don't apply any serious thought to it. We don't study it. We don't train our children for it. We leave it to chance and circumstance that we will be happy. Even after meeting with sorrow and pain, we rarely pause to reflect. While we are experts in air crash investigations, I don't know if you've seen that. Do you see that? Everybody is very excited about it. Those who have not seen it, please see it. It comes highly recommended from FTS. So it's you don't know FTS? You know FTS, right? No, you don't know FTS? FTS, you stand up, will make his life a bit tough. I'm going to hear some trouble when I go home, but never mind. What's life without ups and downs? Okay, yes. So everyone watches this air crash investigations and they do a great job. Each point they figure out. They find out all the various causes. They don't try to make it one cause. They don't oversimplify because their job is that it should not happen again. They are a dedicated team. They spend years and come out with reports. And extremely impressive what they do. We as humans do that. We are experts in air crash investigations. We never investigate human crashes. We review financial crisis, but we do no research before divorce about what went wrong. After an acrimonious argument, how many of us pause to consider what just happened? We hardly ever get off the roller coaster called life to reflect. Even after country alter or fail, no one clamors for an investigation, much less offer a solution. The roller coaster goes on. Our attention riveted to the next dramatic event, a little surface emotion, and then the past is gone in a flash. Isn't this a little irresponsible of us? Forgive the question, but are we humans mad? How much time and effort on non-essentials and how little on essentials? So this is the premise, this is the base from where we start. Okay, another little reading. A personal responsibility. When life is in disarray, we fret. How can one be happy under such adversity? That necessitates the question, how did such a situation come about? Did we create it? Did we escabrate it? Why that debt or this bad marriage? How come this illness or that problem? Let us spot our participation in it. If we identify our patterns and remove them, if we identify our patterns, we can remove them. Or conversely, we can endlessly find excuses for the mess and never put the responsibility squarely where it belongs, on ourselves. If this world is what it is today, we are the ones responsible. If my life is what it is today, I am the one responsible. They say, oh, the government does this, and so does this, and my mother-in-law does this, and everybody does things. Are we what, puppets? Are we not doing things? So what are those things which we should do? What are those ways? How do we think? How do we approach this whole thing? The happiness habit. Happiness is not something we eke out of a harsh world. It is not something to be acquired. Like health, it is our natural inherent state. Our lifestyle preserves it or destroys it. The possibility of immense sorrow is always with us. But then, so is the potential for infinite happiness. We stand at that crossroad. Right now, we can be extremely happy or be utterly miserable. How are you going to play this? So lots for us to think about. Yeah, I think that's it. Reading, right? Yeah. So now over to Aparna.
Thank you all for being here. Most of you have the benefit of being Janki students. Janki herself is very good now. So luckily, I feel that I'm the one who's been in this. All I need to do is ask the question. Actually, I also have a benefit of Vedanta for some time with the famous as well as Swami Partha. We are Paruja, so I had a little bit of exposure. So Janki just to build on what I said about unhappiness. Before we get on to the happiness, let's talk about a little bit of why we are so often unhappy. Are those circumstances all of us have such barriers at some point to varying degrees? Or are we choosing to respond to those circumstances? Is it not the circumstances making us unhappy?
Frankly, it's probably neither. We become unhappy for one reason and one reason alone, which is that our desire is corrupt. There is nothing else here. I want something, it didn't happen that way. That is it. Okay? Now, so it's not the circumstance. And largely, it's sometimes not even us, because the circumstances and our desire is equally out of our control. So there has to be another way. Though people nowadays say that you must learn to respond better, don't react, respond. You know, there's a lot of that going on, which is good advice, obviously, because we can benefit ourselves by at least not going berserk about things. But at its very base lies you have that desire. And unless you ride the desire rather than the desire riding you, it's going to happen.
No, we come back to the question of desire, which is very relevant. But let's take circumstances to some extent. You know, whether it is where a majority of the population has this financial, people deal with health issues, loss, things that all things that make us unhappy, which are not something we link to desire, but they are also external circumstances we don't have to be. So how do we go about talking about these kind of contingencies and emergencies which circumstances beyond their control or happiness when they're not even managed
We can't. If a person is suffering from penury and starvation, you can't take him the book Happiness Guarantee. So please take him some food. So when we are looking at social causes such as what you are talking about, that our people are suffering and we have to do something about it, the best thing we could do is educate the wealthy. Because there is enough wealth, there is enough everything in this country by which everybody can be taken care of. So Vedanta deals with this problem in a slightly, I don't know, can I use the word unorthodox way? Because, or maybe that is the orthodox way, I don't know. The thing is, we see problems, we want to help. Somebody is in hospital, we want to help. You can't give that person a lecture on being happy. It's ridiculous. So you want to help the person. Somebody is starving, somebody can't get admission somewhere, all sorts of issues. There's a marital issue. So those problems are dealt with specifically. Vedanta is usually prevention, and cure is a very minimal aspect of it, because even if you do manage to cure this, something else is going to crop up if you haven't handled the very root of it. It's like you're chopping off weeds, but you're not pulling them out by the root. So Vedanta's contribution to human welfare is the pulling out of the root. It's not trying to substitute solving the actual problem. It's just that it's a warning. If you don't go to the root, this problem is going to come right back. And haven't we experienced this? How many problems where all of us at reasonable ages, let us say, except maybe Bhavna, but she may not have experienced this so far. How many problems in life we have sorted out? How many? But where are we? In toto, where are we? In exactly the same place we always were. But we are very excited about this problem. If I solve this problem, everything's going to be all right. No, it's not. So Vedanta is a completely different view of this whole situation.
And in the context of desire, some of us would argue that desire is human. To be human is to desire. So how does one deal with that in the context? You said that desire is one of the major problems. In fact, it's exhausting.
Yes, that's correct. To be human is to have desire. Without desires, you'll be God. God plus desires is equal to human. Now we are human. So we have to learn how to deal with our desires. If this fundamental thing is not done, we are going to be in the same soup as we always were. If not this problem, some other problem. If I get along with my husband, I have a issue with my maid. I get along with my husband, I get along with my maid, I have an issue with my neighbor. Thing or the other is going to come. Nothing else the doodh wala will irritate me. Something or the other, right? So I have to learn to be able to deal with my desires. Dealing with my desires is a twofold thing. One aspect of dealing with desires is learning how to fulfill them. And the other aspect of desires is learning how to sublimate them. These two things have to be done together. If you try sublimation without fulfillment, you will be frustrated. If you try fulfillment without sublimation, you will be agitated. You will not find that joy which you thought you were going to find when you got this.
For the benefit of our viewers who are not familiar with sublimation, just tell us.
Sublimation means cultivating higher desires, growing up in life. When you grow up in life, the lower things cease to have validity in your life. Like when you grow up to be an adult, the toys that you played with, which gave you happiness and which gave you sorrow, cease to do this. It's not that you will never touch toys. Have you all taken a vow, I will not touch toys? You're not running away from toys. You're not running towards toys. They just don't have any validity in your life. If you have to take them, you'll take them. If you don't have to take them, you won't take them.
Okay, so I'll share a very secret of mine, which is retail pedagogy. before I go to bed at night, I love surfing on these various brands that I like. I'm not always shopping. Just enjoy the process of surfing. Where in your matrix of desires does that fit in? It's not certainly a very high desire, but it's one that is still giving me a lot of happiness, even though I'm not fulfilling it necessarily. Once in a while, I think.
Where does it fit in the matrix of happiness? Have fun. What I mean, like there's nothing to it. Just if that's fun, do it. Why would you not? The problem sometimes with philosophers is that we start examining things too much. Even if we are enjoying something, why not just enjoy it? Have fun.
What I'm trying to say is, I think when we see desire for the sake of it, and we're not saying that our happiness is contingent on that outcome at all times, right? And I think what I learned also from the Gita is that it's okay to have desire, it's okay to pursue a goal, it's okay to be ambitious. But that happiness is not contingent on the outcome of that, because the outcome is not something that we would control. Is that something that you would also subscribe to? Or
Yes and no. It's not the yardstick. When you have a desire for, a child has a desire for a toy and is crying and sobbing and saying, I want to get that, all that the child is doing. What will you tell the child? You will tell the child that just relax. We will buy it for you. You do well in your exam or some such thing. You will tell the child, and yeah, if you deserve it, you will get it. And then, so the child can hold back that agitation for the moment until such time that the child gets it. If you refuse that completely to a child, you cannot tell this child to be happy. Similarly with us, we can put it off for a while and say, okay, I'm going to work for this, and when I get it, I will be happy. But to tell myself, I'm going to be happy whether I get it or not, doesn't sound like stuff we can actually do.
okay, I'll keep that in. Okay. Happiness is a habit, you say. One other way I used to put it was it's a choice, it's a decision, it's a practice. Could you tell us what you mean by when you say happiness is a habit?
That means you are consistently, daily, consciously studying Vedanta.
And how do you practice your habit? Obviously, you study Vedanta, but how is that? Could you give us some like concrete examples of that? How that is done?
Help me.
What does that look like?
Okay. The two things we have to do is fulfill a desire and sublimate it. Bottom line of life. Now, when you study every single morning, this is a non-negotiable. You have heard me say this a million times. And if you listen to me a million times, you will hear it another million times. It is a non-negotiable, like it's a non-negotiable about brushing your teeth or about having a bath. These are non-negotiables, right? So like that is your daily morning study. When you do that properly, the intellect develops. When the intellect develops, achieving desires becomes an easy aspect of life. That's not where the difficulty ever lies. Achieving desires is the simple thing. In the Gita it says, Shipram hi manushe loke siddhir bhavati karmaja. Shipram means immediately. Shipram hi manushe loke, in this manushe loke, in this world of ours, siddhir bhavati karmaja. Will success come out of action? How long does it take? How long did it take, Bezos to set up Amazon? How long does, it was like fantastic achievements, right? It's no big deal. So if you have the clarity of thought, you achieve no matter what stupid target you put for yourself. That's number one. And while you're doing it, you do it in a way that it's leading to sublimation as well. That's the daily effort at sadhana, which guarantees the happiness.
Yeah, I mean, one of the most useful frameworks that I found out of Vedanta, and I'm sure you did also, is the distinction between mind, body, and intellect. So I live with a friend who has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and one of the things that happens to me is I feel that my mind is often running in one direction, and the only thing that can hold it back is intellect. So how could you tell us to strengthen the intellect for a person to differentiate between mind and body who may not have studied Vedanta? Sorry, mind and intellect who would not have studied.
Okay. When there is a, a condition, whether it's a physical condition or a mental condition, it requires medication. So Vedanta doesn't come into the picture for that. Vedanta comes into the picture when there is no flare up. The mind means those kind of thoughts. Okay, mind and intellect is a classification of thoughts. Those kind of thoughts which are irrational, which are whims and fancies, which are likes and dislikes. These are called in Vedanta as manas, man. It's easier in Hindi because the English word mind is a bit confusing. So man means your heart, your desires, your likes and dislikes, your whims and fancies, your moods. Every irrational aspect of the mind of our thoughts is the mind. And intellect is buddhi. Buddhi means discrimination, reason, judgment, analysis. Now, life is based, how good or bad our life is going to be, is based on whether our actions, that is our body, how much of our actions is determined by the intellect. When you are functioning on the mind, you're driving blind. When you're functioning on the intellect, this is conscious action. You have decided where you're going, you have planned, you have programmed, you have decided what needs to be done, you have figured out what you know, what you don't know, what my brother calls the known, what do you call it? The known, the unknowns, and the unknown knowns, something like that, no? So you don't know lots of it. Remember that. When you start doing stuff, oh, I'm going to invest so much, and then I'm going to make so much, and then do you realize how much of the unknown is playing here? So you figure out all this, and then you take your steps. Even something as simple as coming here and coming on time. You know whether your intellect works or not by whether you arrived here on time or not. Because if you have arrived on time, you have to have planned the whole thing, right? Also taking into consideration the unknowns. What is the unknown we all face? Yes, we don't know. I know this much time it takes from South Mumbai to here. Under certain traffic conditions. But we don't know that those are going to. So intellect, as long as we're using, our life goes in the direction it is supposed to go. Everything will not happen the way we want it. Everything is not going to be conducive to us. Everything is not going to be against us. We will have lucky breaks. God knows that's true. As you all know, we are working on building the university. When we decided to build the world's first Vedanta University, very ambitious project. You know how much money we actually had at that time when we had this project in mind? 11,000 rupees. We used to go hunt for plots of land. Pranesh is not here today. Pranesh and I, we used to sit in the car, go hunting for plots, and he used to say, अगर ये broker को पता चलेगा कि आपके पास 11,000 रुपए हैं, वो बोलेगा मेरा brokerage नहीं मिलने वाला. From that to hopefully next week we will be purchasing the land. A little premature, hold it. We have still not achieved it. We have to still buy it. But the public notice is out. We have to wait for the public notice period to be over. See if anything comes up, all frightening and exciting stuff. But the thing is, imagine how much help we got. Just imagine that. Who would have predicted the help and who is going to predict the problems? The intellect has to assess. You have to know. So when mind means you're doing things blind, you're functioning on the mind, means you are likes and dislikes. People talk like this. मैं ऐसा हूँ. So what? You don't achieve by saying मैं ऐसा हूँ. You do what needs to be done to get what you need to get. I don't talk to people like that. I don't like marketing. I don't like fund collection. What is that supposed to mean? If you want to put up a university, you better do fund collection. All about me, 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 me. I like this, I don't like this. This is functioning on the mind. If I ask anyone for money, what will they think about me? Spiritual people are not supposed to ask anybody for money. All sorts of notions. This is the mind. Intellect says, this is where we're going, this is what we need to do. We do it. So those kind of people achieve.
It's a fantastic story, and I really look forward to seeing this university come.
Yes, come join us.
So we talked about desire, we talked about happiness and habit, we talked about mind and strength. Let's come to the moment of the guarantee itself. What is the happiness guarantee according to
To the extent your desires reduce with proper sadhana, not this fake thing of saying, I don't have desires. Please, we all do have desires. First step is to understand that we have them. Second step is to direct them. And third step is to sublimate them. To the extent we have sublimated our desires, to the extent we have grown up, to the extent that something other than me matters to me, to that extent, I will be eternally happy no matter what happens. But the moment that attention comes back to me, mera kya hoga, our problems start. If you think for yourself, anything that's bothering you today, what is it? Is it not the most simple thing? Things are not happening as I want, or things will not happen as I want. It's the most simple thing. So, as long as we do our sadhana, which means karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, the whole lot of it, and our desires are sublimated, you're guaranteed your happiness level is not going to fall below that. Just like nothing that happens in the toy world today is going to affect your happiness. Guarantee.
how do you differentiate between a desire that is lower and higher? I ask this question also because we as a country are very outward looking at this stage in life, right? We want to be one of the fastest growing economies in the world. We have a young population that wants to achieve, and we also pride ourselves on our spirituality. So how do you then reconcile between that higher order and spirituality so that we are actually reaching the happiness levels that we aspire to?
These two things are the same. If as a country we aspire, we are being spiritual. If I aspire because of what I am going to get, I'm being materialist. It's the same thing. If we all get together, we say this country can go places, and together we can really do stuff. And we can be, that was the ideal of ancient times, that Bharat Vishwa Guru hai. We can do this. We can be a contribution to the concepts, to the ideas of the world, because it just so happens that we have that talent here. We have that thinking capacity. We have the talent. We are very blessed with that. We have our IT. We have all sorts of things which we're good at. And if we say, okay, all of us are going to get together and do this, it is what the Gita calls Loka Sangraha. So that is spiritual life.
But removing the I out of the equation, even for, let's say, a mother who's looking after a child, and we look at that act as one being selfless. Even a mother is getting that joy, when they're looking after her. That's one of the hardest things to do, is to remove the I out of the equation in anything that we do. Whether we are contributing to our company, to our families, to our communities, to our country. It's always that sense of, idleness. So apart from, obviously you've emphasized the other practices, there's something that you could say tactically that the ordinary person could be doing.
The Vedanta practices are for the ordinary person, but before we even, excuse me, before we even undertake that, we have to understand the problem with having the I there. As long as the I is there, I am pouring acid onto myself. Wherever I have been agitated, it's because the I was there. Now, even in a mother and child, the world says it's the most unselfish thing. It is not. It is a selfish thing because the mother will look after only my child. I don't care. All the other children in the world can die. My child must live. My child must come first, even if another child has done better. Even then, please give my child the marks. And if I can do this by any kind of power or pressure, I will do it. There's nothing unselfish here. So this mother will be agitated. My mother used to say a very nice thing, which at that time I didn't register, but now later on in my life, she used to go on saying to everybody, I'm going to give 2 good children to this nation. At that time, I was too daft to understand it. But that concept, if a mother thinks like that, then she will deal with her child properly because it's not all about me now. But the child should become good. The child should be what they call Kartrutvavan. Nowadays, if my child is going abroad and I'm going to miss my child, I'm going to say, don't go, no. How can you leave your mommy and go? Are you crazy? The child has to go and do his own stuff. So removing the I means removing the agitation. And once that is clear to us, we'll do it.
So just one couple of last questions and we move to the audience. Social media and this, what is the connection between the two?
None whatsoever. Social media is the reason we all are here together. I'm sure everybody who came here because of something they saw on their phone. Is that correct? So isn't that wonderful? Fantastic. The problem, like in all other things, is not the social media, but what the human being is doing with the social media. It's like a knife. You can use it to cut your vegetables. You can use it for nefarious purposes. It's not the knife. It's not the social media. It's not anything. It is what I am doing with that thing. I can use it to waste my life. I can use it to enhance my life.
Relationships and expectations. What is the connection between the two? I think that we all, we all smile in the audience, so I think everyone knows what I'm headed to this one.
Yes, it's a big one, especially in India, because family is big for us over here. Relationships and expectations are eternally tied together. You cannot have a relationship without expectations. The problem is not expectations. The problem is, you all know, right? The problem is incorrect expectations. When we do not assess the other person, when we do not make any attempt to find out what the person is, we live in some kind of dream world. He's my husband, he will do all this for me. He's my brother, he will do all this for me. She's my mother, she will do all these things for me. People are not my husband, my brother, my mother, my father, my friend, my boss, my colleague. People are who they are. They are not living by our arbitrary ideas of what they should be doing, just as we are not living by what anyone else thinks we should be doing. People have their own natures, each one. I must be able to deal with that nature. Just because somebody is my husband doesn't mean that he will do X, Y, and Z that I want. I have to learn to see people painfully, with difficulty. I have to see people for what they are, not what I would like them to be. And once I make that assessment, I'll have the right expectation, and then I can get along with anyone.
Yes, if I could add to that is have affection for them regardless.
Yes, of course, always.
So whether they, have fulfilled the expectations you want them to be, or whether you can assess them for 1 year, accept that and still have the affection for them.
Actually, it's not a divorce thing. The moment you can see something for what it is, you can appreciate its beauty. If you see a rose for what it is, it's beautiful, it has fragrance, it has thorns, you appreciate it for what it is. You see a tiger, it's carnivorous, it's violent, but you appreciate it. People were so excited when cheetahs came to the country. Cheetahs, they'll eat you up if you meet them, but they're excited. Thus, affection is the natural corollary of understanding something for what it is.
Are we up for a rapid fire round?
Yep, sure.
So, in one word, the key to good relationships is
Service.
success is
One word only.
two words.
Success is achievement of objective.
Failure is
Non-achievement of objective.
and happiness guarantee in one line. See, I'm giving you one line.
Oh, thank you. Happiness guarantee of one line in one line is do karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga. Your happiness is guaranteed.
Thank you. Now, can we turn over to the audience? Some questions? We have some time.
Do you think I should say what is karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga since I've been saying do it?
I think you could say it. It's
Okay.
always helpful for the audience that may not be familiar with.
Yeah. How many people are new to this whole thing? Oh, you're absolutely. Okay. So karma yoga is when karma means action, yoga means joining. So when we use our action to join to the higher, whatever in your understanding is the higher is okay. Otherwise, it means self-realization. When we use our body to attach to higher ideals, it's called karma yoga. In simple words, it's a life of service. You just do service. Whether you go to office, whether you're at home, you just always think, how can I benefit the other person? That's karma yoga. The friends say, aprevu. First you. Let me see what you want and what I can do about that. Bhakti yoga is the capacity to use our emotions to reach the higher, which means universal affection. I don't like people and dislike people. I don't pick up people and drop people. My love for them stays constant regardless of their personal behavior. If I believe that the Lord created them, and if I love the Lord, why would I not love his creation? Bhakti yoga. Jnana yoga is the capacity to use our intellect to reach a higher level, by which you discriminate constantly as to what is permanent and what is passing. Just hone into the permanent things. The passing are going to pass. So much time and effort on it, and it's not going to last till tomorrow. So Jnana Yoga means this constant discrimination. If we do these three things in life, we get established in the higher. Our desires move to higher things, and the lower ceases to bother us.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Yeah, mics.
Yeah.
Hello. Gandhiji, I remember way back, attended the class, and the subject was happiness. So you explained that our happiness is dependent upon the outside source. So that time my question was, if outside sources are my happiness are dead, and who are gone, that 80% remains with me, and your reply was 0. So I want to know how mathematically it should be 80, how it's come to 0. Is our first question. Second is, How can I be happy with remain 80% of that solution for the
I am not a mathematician. I don't know how to do this mathematically, but we can see our own experiences. What happens? Okay, so does anyone have a stomachache? Toothache? Nothing, right? Suppose you're very upset about something and I tell you, your stomach is okay, your teeth are okay, your wife is still looking after you, 100 other things I tell you which you have. Okay, but I didn't get this, whatever it is. I didn't get this promotion. So we know as a matter of fact that it takes one thing in our life to throw us off the apple cart completely. This is a matter of experience for us. So, how do you deal with it? By inculcating gratitude. Okay, I can see I don't have one thing, but can I expand my vision to see what I do have? Things that I cannot live without. So once we start expanding the vision, we begin to say, okay, I don't have this. It's possible I may never have it, but I also do have all these other things. So as I evolve, I become acutely conscious of receipts. What I am getting when I'm at my worst, when I've been at my very lowest, I have got more than I could ever pay for, I could ever be grateful for. Imagine a person has lost everything and he's sobbing. And yet nature is supporting, right? The tears are coming out of his eyes. The oxygen is going in for his gasps. Can we be aware of this? Even when we have nothing, we have so much.
There's a lady over there.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, so my question is, you spoke about this. So when you desire goes forward, it's not fulfilled, that is where we are.
Right.
Now we have so many other emotions and fear. Next, when these present along with happiness and desire, what is the relation is along with the emotion, along with this.
Is this the first time you're hearing about this? Is this the first sort of Vedanta class you have come to? Okay, great. I hope you come to many more. You have good questions.
I do need the Vedanta on the next, on the next, I do need some things. A little bit from there, otherwise I come.
Okay, wonderful. So what is desire? Let us understand. Desire is a flow of thoughts towards an object or being because of a lack of fulfillment within. When I don't feel fulfilled by myself, I want to get something from the world, so I get that fulfillment. Like if my stomach is empty, I want to get food so that my stomach feels full. So desire is defined as a flow of thoughts to fill a non-fulfillment that I feel. Right? So if I go to a 5-star, but I'm dressed in tattered clothes, then I'll feel extremely uncomfortable. I cannot be fulfilled without my paraphernalia. This is desire. When I want something, my thoughts go to that object. If something else comes in between and prevents me from getting that thing, my thoughts will move to this new thing. Right? So I want a necklace. I tell my husband, buy it for me. He refuses to buy it for me. My thoughts move from the necklace to my husband. I experience these thoughts as anger. When something interrupts my desire, I get angry towards that person, whatever that interruption is. Sometimes that the desire and the interruption is the same thing, such as I want my husband to take me to a movie. He refuses to take me. Now I want him with me and I'm angry with him. Right? So the desire and the interrupter can be the same also. So when my thoughts are interrupted, my flow of thoughts towards that object or being is interrupted, I experience anger. If it is fulfilled, I experience happiness. Then I want some more, which is greed. If even my greed is fulfilled, I will start feeling arrogant towards those who don't have that. So I want to be a member of car gym. And then I meet you and you're not a member. And I say, oh, you're not a member of car gym? It happens in the spiritual field. I've been to Vaishno Devi. You've not been to Vaishno Devi? In the spiritual field also we do this kind of thing. Yeah. How many ashrams do you have? Only one. You know, we feel arrogant towards those who have more, who have less. And we are envious of those who have more. So those who had a wedding in some, I don't know, where is that place nowadays? People keep going for a wedding somewhere in Europe. Which is that place?
Lake Como.
Oh, Como, yeah, that's one. And then there's another one. Huh? I don't know the name, whatever. Some fancy place in Europe that everyone is making their way for weddings. Now, if you go there for your son's wedding, but I was only able to afford Goa, and I look at you and say, too much black money these people have. So I am arrogant towards those who have less. I'm envious towards those who have more. And whatever I have, there's always the possibility of losing it. So that brings fear in me. So as you see, suppose a couple enter a party. Then the lady starts talking to some girls and the man is talking to some men. And then after some time, some lady is talking to that man. What is the wife doing? There's always the fear of loss. All these are very strong emotions. And they cause delusion. That means you will now start doing any ridiculous thing. So emotion in a line, since in a line is the way of today, in a line is only emotion is only a modification of desire. No desire, no emotion.
Thank you. I think you might need to wind up, or do we have more than questions?
Yeah,
Okay, one.
we'll take the gentleman there. Varsha, you can ask in class, so it's okay.
That is also has a along this.
Actually, there are 4 yogas. To simplify, I made it 3. The 4 yogas, as you all know, is Hatha Yoga, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga. There are only 4 possibilities for a human being. One is that his mind functions predominantly. I mean, he's an emotional person, not in the sense that his mind is out of control, but he's an emotional person. He or she is an emotional person. Such a person takes predominantly to Bhakti Yoga. Some people are predominantly intellectual. They take to Jnana Yoga. Some people have both balanced. They take to Karma Yoga, because when the mind and intellect function together, it results in action. And when neither work, you do Hatha Yoga, because too tamasic for either feelings or thinking, then you do Hatha Yoga. Now, various prophets and sages and masters and realized souls have come through the ages and made some combinations of these. They have become the various religions or other so-called yogas, such as Raj Yoga. and different things, Ashtanga Yoga, so many different permutations and combinations, but they are of the same basic format. So, and of course, Dhyana Yoga, which also the others include, is when your desires have reduced so much that you can go into meditation. So this permutations and combinations are done in various ways, all of them valid. But once you get what is happening, then you see the picture.
Thank you very much. And your big round of applause.
Yeah. And for my companion too.
I think actually this, I'm not sure if you mentioned this earlier, but this is the first of a trilogy. We're going to be coming out with 3 books totally, so we're going to be back for more very
Yes,
soon.
yes.
Thank you, everyone. As we said, action is important. Therefore, let me firstly thank Aparna ji again. For being here, conducting this session. It was a rapid fire, telling us some urgent things, and then there were some slower questions and it's going to be there. Take a lifetime to answer that. Also, thank you, Janvi, for the knowledge. Janki ji, you mentioned Jeff Bezos, and Jeff Bezos recently broke the internet, saying that we are staying in a volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world. What is
VUCA.
VUCA?
Yes.
We're so glad we have someone who can these hands. Thank you so much. Also, thank you to the management and hosting us. Thank you to Mr. Vivek Devnani, who's the president. We are just requesting him to come up and address us for a few moments. Thank you. There are a few more announcements, please, so everyone sit back, probably for 5 minutes more.
Good afternoon, friends. A lovely gathering. A special thanks to the team of Vedanta for conducting classes at Kajil Khana and for congratulations for this book launch. And Dr. Janki, your spoke was really enlightening, and all the best. And from Kajil Khana, I can tell you all the 3 book launches can happen here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Devnani. Is Mr. Harry D'Souza here? Yes, thank you to you. Been very involved in making this happen. A few other thank yous are in order. Bharat, as a coordinator of the event. For some of us who know him, we know that he's into fitness. His mantra. He raises the bar for us volunteers in terms of strength, stamina, and flexibility. His strength to take on events such as this single-handedly. His stamina to keep doing it over and over again. And his flexibility, because a lot of us don't respond to him in time, he still flashes that smile. So thank you, Bharat. As Janki ji would agree, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a lot of volunteers to make things happen, including editing the book. So thank you everyone who contributed, reading the book and editing it. A lot of names. Momita, thank you. We have a volunteer absent, Lucy. If you're watching this, thank you. And to everyone else who read the book, edited the book, thank you so much. Thank you to everyone for being here. A couple of announcements and then we wrap up. We spoke about retail therapy. We also spoke about not examining our desires late at night too much. Well, you could do both. You could actually get the books and fulfill your retail therapy on sale, and read and examine live to the content that Janki has written. So best of both worlds. Both of Janki's book, her earlier book, and this one that is being launched today is available. Also, as everyone's mentioned, this is a series, but your studies may not be in series, they could be in parallel. Janki conducts classes online, as most of you know. For all of those who are new, you can fill a form, someone will get in touch. You can stay with the subject. You know, in a VUCA world, there is a way to use social media productively. Classes online, there is an LMS course online. There's a lot of activity happening online. Stay in touch online with the group, and hope to see all of you online in class. We also had a video about an upcoming university. Now, you know, some things work, some things don't work, that's life. The technology didn't work. But if any of you are interested in the cause of the university, lots of volunteers, you can reach out to them. And we'll be very happy to recount the story of how we are going from 11,000 rupees to 110 crores university. Thank you so much.